I'm Joe Holt, and this is Tune In Geek Out. Tonight, I'm doing a movie review of the movie The Dark Tower by Stephen King. Full disclosure, I've never read any of the Dark Tower books. I own a few of them. I've seen them over the years come up on the shelves. I'm old enough to remember years ago, 15, 18 years ago, something like that, when Stephen King got hit by a car and suddenly went through a huge resurgence for this series and wanted to get it done. I think because he felt like his time was limited, which was great. I think it's kind of what we all hope George R. R. Martin will do. You know, winter's coming, man. Come on, get those damn books finished. So anyway, I have not read the series, but I know of it. I know the characters. I know the good guys, the bad guys, even the plot, kind of what happens. I've even spoiled the ending of the final book because I couldn't wait. But someday I will go back and read them. Tonight, I'm focused on the movie. I was really looking forward to the movie. I know it was getting pretty bad reviews, depending on whose reviews you were reading. And mine is, spoiler alert, mixed. So I went in knowing what the series was about. I had read somewhere else that the movie kind of starts over, and not just to set up the rest of the series, but that things and events in the movie take place essentially after the series has ended, when the world kind of turns over again. It reminds me a lot of The Matrix 2 and 3, where Neo's like the 13th, whatever, Neo, I don't know, Savior, whatever you want to call it, or whatever, 42nd. I don't remember what number he was. The answer is always 42. But anyway, so I knew that kind of going in. So it was a good movie. Flat out, it was a good movie. I'm not going to say it was a great movie, and here's why. Even not knowing exactly what happened in the books, it was not a great movie. The characters were interesting. The writing was interesting, but none of it was enough to get me hooked. Idris Elba is a fantastic actor, and he's not given very much. The lead actor in the movie, the boy, again, he tried. He did well, but everything felt rushed and set up to kind of move on to something else, and then it didn't really move on to anything else. The plot was very simple. The man in black is trying to destroy the Dark Tower, which links all of these different kind of this multi-universe together, this multiverse together. And he's looking for basically psychic kids, powerful psychics, to enslave them and destroy the Dark Tower. The gunslinger is part of who Idris Elba's character is, Roland. They were basically created to stop the Man in Black and anyone else from destroying the tower. Idris Elba's character is the last, and he's kind of given up. At this point, he just wants revenge on the Man in Black. So all of that setup is good. The idea that there's this Dark Tower, the multiverse. There's one guy who can stop him, and he doesn't really care about stopping him. He just wants to kill him. So he could save the universe. Doesn't really care. Just wants the guy dead. I can get that. That's a flawed hero. I can get behind that. And Idris Elba is a freaking badass in this movie. The powers of the gunslinger, or what they can do, are awesome. It's some of the coolest kind of gunplay I've seen on camera. You've seen it in some of the trailers where he's the boys being stolen, kidnapped, and Idris Elba's just kind of hearing and thinking and hearing and thinking, and he shoots, and it just goes through all these different layers, not even paying attention looks-wise where the bullet's going. Something that you haven't really seen on camera. It was awesome. Other times he's loading and reloading his weapon, and it just looks cool. The way they did it, the way they set it up is badass. But the problem comes in that the story itself is so simplistic. The idea of this guy just wants revenge, and they kind of don't set themselves up to go much further into that. So the movie feels like it's setting itself up. It's setting up this, it's setting up that, it's setting up this, and then it kind of just delivers the very simple premise of the movie. There's really nothing underneath all that. There's some subplots in the movie with various characters, people you never meet, and it's just not handled very well. These guys kind of pop up, and you wonder if they're going to be important. They show up again, you still don't remember the name or what really they're doing, and then they die, and you're like, whatever. Okay, that's great. It happens probably a handful of times. At least 4 characters I can think of that pop up, seem like they're important to the movie, and then they're gone, including one of the guys from Dollhouse and Cabin in the Woods. He's got a crazy name. I can't think of what his name is. I'm sure you'll tell me in the comments. But he's a fantastic actor, totally underutilized here. And again, I don't even think you know his name in the movie. It's just kind of weird. I said earlier it felt rushed, and it does. And rushed toward what? That's the problem. Everyone was complaining when they released the runtime of this movie, like it's not even 90 minutes. So would they have benefited from an extra half an hour? I don't know. I can tell you that there's a similar movie called Dark City, and I say similar because it centers on unforeseen, mysterious things happening in this city, this world. Shadowy figures kind of controlling everything, evil guys, and a guy, in this case not a kid, but a guy who has the ability, the psychic ability to fix it, to solve the problem, to beat the bad guys down. And that movie, Dark City, is way more interesting than The Dark Tower. It's crazy. Again, The Dark Tower has 7 books to draw from, and Stephen King is a fantastic writer. He's seriously one of my favorite writers, and you don't really see much of that. Or if you do, again, it just feels like it's set up, and then they cut out a crap ton of stuff. If 30 or 40 minutes were cut out, it would not be surprising to me, because it feels like it's missing a lot. Whether or not those cut scenes would have been good, whether they would have added character development or plot points or rounded out some of those other characters, I don't know. But the story for me is just too simplistic to be a great movie. It was good. But a week later, like I said, I was sick. And actually, I don't know that I explained that. I was sick earlier in the week when I saw this, back on Monday of last week, and I didn't want to do this review. You can probably hear it. My voice still, I just had no voice. It was really bad. I'm glad that I waited, because it gave me more time to think about it. And sadly, it gave me more time to forget about this movie, because that's the kind of movie it is. It's just kind of forgettable. It's good. Popcorn flick. You got your popcorn, your icy, or your soda, or whatever. 2 hours later, you're out of the theater. Hour and a half later, you're out of the theater, and you're on with your life. And it was worth the $7 or $8 I paid for the ticket, but it's definitely not worth repeat viewings. I definitely don't feel the need to tell others to rush out and see it. Like I said, if you're looking for a book or a movie with better developed characters, better plot, mostly cooler effects, although those gun effects in the movie were fantastic, I would see Dark City instead. Even Matthew McConaughey, who's an Academy Award-winning actor, just seems kind of underutilized. He seems menacing, but at the same time, he doesn't seem like Satan himself walking around, or a guy who's even worse than Satan, which is who he's supposed to be. So I don't know. I'd love to hear your thoughts. If you saw it, if you liked it, if you hated it, please let me know. Any of my other Tune In Geek Out members, if you guys have seen it, or if you're interested in seeing it, let me know what you think. Tell me if I'm crazy or not, or tell me if you agree. But The Dark Tower, good, not great. If you skip it, you're not missing out. If you wait till it to come out on Apple or iTunes, or on DVD or Blu-ray or something like that. DVD. Who collects DVDs anymore? You're probably fine, but I would not buy it. I would rent it and see what you think. Again, hit me up in the comments. Let me know what you think. I'm Joe Holt, and this is Tune In Geek Out.